Imagine going to buy a loaf of bread with $100 trillion. Not a metaphor, not a joke. That was an actual banknote. In Zimbabwe, in 2008, that bill couldn't even buy you a bus ticket. Today, I'm breaking down how a country's money became almost worthless, and how it happened faster than you'd think. Let's rewind. Zimbabwe, Southern Africa. Back in the early 1980s, its currency, the Zimbabwean dollar, was actually worth more than the US dollar. The economy ran on agriculture, especially commercial farms producing tobacco and maize for export. Then, starting around 2000, the government began a fast-tracked land reform program, seizing large commercial farms, many owned by white farmers, and redistributing them. The goal was to correct colonial-era land inequality, but the transition happened abruptly, and many new landholders lacked the resources or training to keep production at the same scale. Agricultural output collapsed. Zimbabwe went from being a regional breadbasket to a food importer. Export earnings dried up. Foreign currency became scarce, and a government with falling revenue and rising costs did what many governments have done throughout history when they run out of money. It printed more. Here's the key idea made simple. Money only has value because of trust. Trust that it can be exchanged for real things, like bread, fuel, or rent. When a government prints huge amounts of new currency without the economy actually producing more goods and services, there's suddenly way more money chasing the same amount of stuff. Prices rise. That's inflation. Do it slowly, it's manageable. Do it recklessly, it spirals. And Zimbabwe printed recklessly. By 2008, inflation wasn't measured in single digits anymore, it was measured in numbers that don't have everyday names. At its peak, prices were doubling roughly every 24 hours. Economists estimated annual inflation at around 89 sextillion%. That's 89 followed by 21 zeros. People carried cash in wheelbarrows and shopping bags just to buy groceries. Prices changed during the time you were standing in a checkout line. Shops started marking up prices multiple times a day. Some businesses stopped using cash altogether and just quoted prices in US dollars instead. The government's response? Print bigger notes. Zimbabwe issued a $10 trillion note, then 100 trillion. It sounds absurd, but it was just simple math. When your currency is worth almost nothing, you need absurd numbers just to buy ordinary things. Eventually, in 2009, Zimbabwe gave up on its currency entirely. It allowed people to use foreign currencies like the US dollar and South African rand instead. Inflation dropped almost overnight, not because the economy healed, but because the broken currency was simply taken out of the game. Today, those trillion-dollar notes aren't money anymore. They're just collector's items, selling online for a few real dollars each. A strange souvenir of just how fast trust in money can disappear. So why does this matter to you, sitting comfortably nowhere near a hyperinflation crisis? Because it's a reminder. Currency isn't valuable because a government says so. It's valuable because people believe it will still buy something tomorrow. Lose that belief and no number printed on a note can save it. If you found this fascinating, subscribe for more deep dives into money, history, and the weird economics behind the world around us. See you in the next one.